Let us kick things off today with the one and only Alistair Overeem, who was victorious this past Saturday in Las Vegas against Augusto Sakai, picked up his 47th pro MMA victory, his 66th fight, 4 decades strong. Alistair Overeem, unbelievable. How are you, my friend? Congratulations.
I'm good. I'm great, actually. Good performance. We're back in the Netherlands now, back with my kids. Because in camp, I separated myself from them. And yeah, life could not be better.
By the way, how long are you away from your family? Because you go to Colorado, right? And then you go to Vegas. So in total, how long are you away from them?
And I think it was 8 or 9 weeks total this time.
Oh my
Usually
gosh.
it's 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks.
How difficult is that for you? Do you miss them?
I definitely miss them. Yep, definitely. It's becoming more and more hard. Definitely.
Is that part of the reason?
Dad yourself.
Right. But I did notice in this particular build-up to this particular fight, you were talking like for the first, every time we try to talk to you about the end and retirement stuff, you were like, no. But this time, like you are talking about the end. You are talking about things like that. Is it because you're missing your family? Do you feel like it's kind of draining on you?
I definitely think it's part of it, but it's on my terms, right? I mean, people have been talking about retirement for 15 years. I listened to those people. I mean, nothing would have ever happened. Right?
Yeah, of course. If we would have spoke back in 1999, back in 2000, 2001, and we would have talked about your career, and we would have said in 2020 you were beating up youngsters and you were fighting in almost 70 pro MMA fights, would you have believed me?
When are you telling me this? How many years ago?
2000, 2001, 19, 20 years ago.
2001. I would probably not have believed you, right? That it would have become this big of an adventure. But maybe on the other hand, it would. I mean, I was crazy enough back then about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Passionate enough, let me put it that way. Passionate / crazy.
It does feel like you do love it as much as you did in the beginning. Like I could see genuine joy on your face as you're preparing for the fights. Like the whole process, fight week, all that stuff. You still, I mean, usually you do something for 20 something years, you kind of get tired of it. It seems like you still have that same passion for it. Am I right?
Yeah, no, I like it. I love it. And it has nothing to do with the attention, but it's just doing what I want to do. Because the attention, I've never really cared about that. I mean, in the beginning, there's no attention. Now there's no fans. I never really did it for that. But yeah, I just really love to compete. I'm good at it, right? I've won like 80%. We got 4 world titles. We're still kind of in the mix for the UFC title. But I don't know. I love the process. I love staying fit. I love eating healthy, getting ready for these guys.
Yeah, speaking of which, I was thinking about that on Saturday as I was watching you walk out to the cage. You're a guy who fought in front of tens of thousands of people in Japan, all over the world, right? On the biggest stages in combat sports. And now here you are at the UFC Apex at the headquarters in Las Vegas in front of no one, a small cage, small venue. It's not even an arena. What was that like for you?
Yeah, so the last fight was in Jacksonville, same deal, right? No fans. To me, I like it because it's just like sparring. You start sparring a stranger, and there's just no honest. It's just like you would be in the gym. Only it's televised for millions of people. Yeah, it's something new. New impulses intrigue me, and that's why I like it. Probably after a couple of fights, I would get bored with it, and I would prefer fans. But as of now, I still enjoy it. I still like it.
Now, Apex different than the one in Jacksonville, though, because at least that was a real arena, right? So it felt kind of big. This one is a lot more quaint. Do you notice the difference?
Yeah, correct. This is like a very yeah. You hear everything. It's not a lot of people in the other Jacksonville was still big, right? This is an empty arena. This is a small. But to me, it doesn't matter. It's all good.
What about the smaller cage? How did you feel about that?
That didn't affect them too much.
Didn't notice a difference.
Not that small, right? I mean, you have I would say it's a medium cage, and then you have a large cage. Large cage, you can run around in there. Medium cage, this was a medium cage. There was still enough movement possible. Everything was possible. And then with the small cage, there's not a lot possible. So to me, Yeah, it was a medium cage.
Okay. Um, Correct me if you feel otherwise, but it seemed like the fight started a little slow for you, that he won the first 2 rounds. What was going on in those first 2 rounds for you? And then how did you reverse course?
Well, I didn't want to, you know, it's 5 rounds.
Yeah.
But to me, it was like, let me just fight him a little bit, see what happens. I could see the finish on the ground, anyways, right? Submission or ground and pound. But yeah, let's just see where the fight goes. Let's just cruise control. Let's just flow with it.
So you weren't worried at all?
No, I was not too worried. I
Was
mean,
the
he's a big. He punches hard, but I was not too worried.
was that the plan, to take your time to take him into deep waters because you're a lot more used to fighting 5 rounds than he is?
Yeah, yeah.
Interesting. At any point, did he seriously hurt you?
No,
Nothing. You didn't feel anything.
no.
Wow. What about the end of the fourth round there? Did you think that the fight would get stopped with your ground and pound?
Um, the coaches were doing an awesome job in directing me, and they were like, "Listen, this fight is about to get finished. He's basically finished. Just get the takedown and finish him." So that were my instructions going into the fifth.
Okay.
Yeah.
But when you were actually raining blows towards the end of the fourth, did you think the fight would get stopped?
Um, I think I probably had to do a little bit more,
Okay.
right? And in the fifth, we turned it a little bit more on him, right? More vicious elbows, more. It's good to have, in my opinion, different levels, right? Not just go, 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 but just a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit more now, a little bit less.
Yeah. And by the way, Alistair,
It's, that's 30 minutes.
right.
With the break, you need to kind of, yeah.
You're sort of covering the camera there. I see your hand
Yeah,
covering it
my
there. Yep,
bad, my
you see
bad, my
that?
bad.
I don't mean
My
to
bad.
correct you, Alistair. I have the utmost respect, but I don't want to see half your face over there. So, I mean, what a lovely face it is. All those scars, you must wear them proudly, right? Do you love the scars? You love the scars, right?
I don't have a problem with them, no. I mean, they all tell a story, right?
Right. Which is
There's a
the
lot of stories. Let me put it
yes.
that way.
Which is your favorite story on your face?
Um, well, favorite story. I don't really talk too much about them, but if somebody asks, I'll tell them.
Okay,
Right?
I'm
And
asking.
is there a favorite story? No, there's not really. There's not. I mean, it's just a lot of war, battles, travel, figure it out again. Right? What are we gonna do next? A lot of adventure. I was built for that. I was built for adventure, and I
Mm,
got adventure. Right? I just
yes.
followed hard, and that's exactly what I got.
If for some
I
reason,
was not built for a 9 to 5.
absolutely, a desk job, if you
Or
will.
just, yeah, or with all due respect to everybody performing those jobs, or like a construction job, or anything like mundane, boring. Um, yeah, I just couldn't. I just couldn't.
If for some reason it ended today, your career ended for whatever reason, would you feel content, or do you still feel like there's more to prove?
I there's definitely more to prove, but I would definitely feel content, and I would definitely feel very grateful. Right? Again, because I was built for adventure. I ventured out. I just followed my heart, followed because let's not forget, 20 years ago when I started, actually was my first fight was 97, so that's 23 years ago, exactly almost to the date. Um, Fighting was not that popular, so yeah, nobody really knew what they were doing. Japan was like the number one market. Oh, come on, yeah, come on. Hey, come on, look who's here, look who's here. Hey,
Oh,
Sensi,
yes.
kom. Yes, kom, wil je op televisie? Kom.
The stars of the
Kom,
show,
kom snel, kom snel, kom snel,
the
kom
mini
snel.
Reams.
Go.
Hello.
Hey,
Hey.
zeg maar hallo. Oh, niet vallen. En
Beautiful
Jess,
little
jij ook?
girl.
Kom maar snel op televisie. Kom snel.
It's your old Uncle Ariel here. Hey.
Hey.
Do they have
Op
iPads? You ever
televisie.
get them an iPad, Alistair?
Oh, they got iPads.
Yeah.
They're very athletic, so they're not really. They can do it. They can do it like what is it, 30 minutes a day or something, or an hour a day, two
Yeah,
times 30 minutes a day, and they just want to run around and
that's good.
yeah, yeah.
That is okay, so you were telling us back in '97, no one liked fighting, right?
Well, no, it was not that big of hype. There was not that a lot of not that much money involved. There was not nobody really knew what they were doing, and I don't know. I just liked it, followed my heart, wanting adventure, and got it.
Mm. Were you nervous back then? Like before those early fights, did you get scared? Did you feel anything?
Mm, like what?
Nerves, anxiety, fear?
I never really had anxiety. I guess I'm a little bit tough there. I guess I never really ever had anxiety. I can just put myself over that.
Wow.
But I mean, there's tension, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it is a real fight.
Before some of those big
Tough. You're
fights,
gonna hit somebody.
K1,
You're gonna get hit.
you
Yeah.
never felt anxiety?
No, maybe a couple times in pride,
Mm.
but not really. Never really. No.
When were you your happy? Like, what's the happiest moment of your career? Maybe the best is yet to come. But if I asked you what moment put the biggest smile on your face, you will remember this moment when you're 90 years old telling your great grandkids about your great career. What's the moment that comes to mind?
Well, okay. So obviously, it would be this moment, right? Because there's so much stuff outside of fighting. Obviously, there's gonna be big fights, big wins, championships. But no, I think these moments because my girls are there, my daughters. Life outside of the cage is rocking, is great, and yeah, life is accomplished, right?
Interesting. So it's none of the big fights early in your career. It's what's happening now.
I mean, those fights are definitely highlights. Those
Yeah.
fights are definitely great moments. But I think now, yeah,
Do
yeah.
do do your girls at home, do they understand what you do? Like, do they know that you go and fight? Like, how do they process this?
Well, we kind of bring it that as sport, right?
Mm-hmm.
Boxing.
Mm-hmm.
That is boxing. So that is going to Denver to train to box, and they'll watch.
After the
Middle
fact?
one is yeah after the fact.
Okay.
This is just a little check that is not going to be too crazy. But they saw the fight a day later, right? Because they're sleeping at that time because
Yeah.
it's like 4 or 5, maybe even 6 a.m. when the fights are on here. But the next day they'll watch the fights.
Do they watch the entire thing or do they lose, interest after a few minutes?
I don't know. That's a good question. I'm gonna have to ask. I'm
Okay.
gonna have to wait for an answer on that.
Because sometimes I show my kids my work and they lose interest after 30 seconds. So I was wondering if yours was a little more enticing.
Yeah, I think they are a little bit more enticing.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, you're in there fighting. I'm
But I
just,
mean, last fight was 5th round, right? Okay, are they gonna watch 25 minutes? I don't know, but it is a good question. I'm gonna ask.
By the way, something that I noticed on Saturday, and people were giving me, some grief for this. I noticed I don't see it often, and I don't know if it's an elevation thing. Your team in Colorado, but I noticed between rounds, you turn around and you face the outside of the cage so that you can speak to the other coaches. Usually, we see the guys sit there, or the woman sit there, and she's kind of facing her opponent with the coaches speaking back for her. But I noticed Neil Magny does it, Montana De La Rosa, several fighters do it where they face. Where did that come from? Because I think it's actually brilliant, and I don't understand why more fighters don't do that.
I don't know. For me, it's very normal. Even in sparring, I would look at my coaches.
Mm.
Just level, look. You listen a little bit better when you see your face, hear a voice to your face.
What is going on there? It's an incredible team. Like you guys are on some kind of run, and I know each time we speak a little more about it, but I honestly still feel like Elevation doesn't get enough credit. Doesn't get like we focus on ATT and we focus on Jacksons and AKA and these camps. Why doesn't anyone talk about Elevation? It's incredible what you guys are doing over there. What
Yeah,
is the
they're
secret to
definitely on the
this?
rise, and I think that the recognition is coming. Right,
Hmm.
they've got some huge name in the team, huge names, and it's the chemistry. Right, it's cool guys, cool dudes with experience, high level of professionalism. They know what they're doing.
Did this?
Listen, for me it was the same. I hadn't heard about him. I just went to Curtis, and then I got introduced to the coaches, to the team. Everybody's cool on the team, right? All the fighters, and yeah, all the coaches: David, Christian Allen, Elliot Marshall, Cody Donovan. So it's the chemistry.
Did this
And
move
these guys, say again?
Sorry, I was just wondering if this move extended your career in your opinion. If you don't make this move, maybe we're not talking about you winning fights at 40.
Absolutely.
Really?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. You know, I am ultimately responsible for my own actions and destiny. That being said, you know, when you're losing fights, you have to always analyze what is going on, what's happening. To me, you know, you need to not be stagnant. You need to always learn, always develop. There needs to always be something happening on that front. And these guys have the same mindset. I went there and I just went to check it out to Curtis, and I was learning again immediately. And I like the chemistry in the team. I like the values of the team. They're on the ball. They're cool people.
Wow. And so at this point, I know you talked a little bit about it going into the fight, but now that the fight is over, have you put a limit on the number of fights? Have you put a limit on the number of years? Where are you at in terms of the state of your career?
It'll probably be 1 or 2 more years. It'll probably be a couple more fights, 2 or 3.
That's it.
That's it.
2 or 3.
Yeah.
How many fights left on this deal with the UFC that you have?
You're asking me again weird things.
What? Is that a personal question?
Well, I'm not asking you how many years you, how much a month do you make?
I'm not asking you how much you make. I'm just saying how many years left.
Exactly. So you're asking me things. I'm not asking you those things. but you can tell me how much you make.
But I didn't ask you how much you make. I just asked.
Actually, Ariel, you never told me how much you make a month.
I'd be happy to tell you how many years left on my contract with ESPN. Is that if I tell you how many years left on my contract with ESPN, would you tell me how many fights left on your deal with the UFC?
No, I'm not going to tell you. Listen, it
Sounds
could be
like I won.
Fights, could be 4 fights, could be 5 fights, but it's going to be 1 or 2 more years.
Okay.
And I have decided that, and I'll tell you why. Because it is a dangerous sport. It takes a lot out of me the way I prepare, because I'm a perfectionist. I put everything possible in the balance. You know, I separate myself. I'm on diet, and all those things are great, right? Being on diet is good. That's good for my body, healthy. But we must not forget that it is a full contact sport, and I've been doing it for a number of years. Training for 28 years. 28 years sparring, 28 years getting hit. I don't get hit often, and team elevation is awesome values, right? We do not injure each other. We're good for each other, but it is a full contact sport, and I have to be clever with my life, with my health. And after 25 years, if I compete another 2 years, I'll be fighting for 25 years. 25 years, and these last few years, it has been 2 or 3 fights a year. But before that, it was 5, 6, 7 fights a year on average. And you're always in camp, you're always preparing, you're always traveling. And I think it is clever to stop while you're ahead, while you're on time. Mm-hmm. I've seen other athletes, other fighters that get damaged, and I don't want that for myself.
Do you find at this age that it takes you longer to recover, that you're slowing down a little bit? Like, do you feel the body reacts differently to the fights?
Recovery definitely goes down. I would say after 30. This is something that people don't really. Your recovery slows down after 30. I would say 1% a year, so that's 10 years now. So I would be at 90%.
Wow.
I mean, and look in the mirror. When you're 20, you go for a drink. The next day you wake up, you can go train, you can do whatever. If I go for that same drink now, I need a couple of days. Right. So your recovery goes down. That's a fact. And that's a sign, right? You're of course you can pursue your dreams, but you should not go all crazy and keep going for years and years and years. You need also.
Would it be safe to say that you want to finish your career with the UFC? Yes. I think you're covering the microphone on your phone.
Yeah. Yeah. My bad.
Yep. No, you're good. You're good. And if you were
a beautiful organization, it's amazing the way they keep tilting the level to new heights, right? Mm-hmm. It's amazing.
Obviously, Stipe is the champ, just beat Daniel Cormier. If you were in charge, would you do Stipe versus Francis next? Do you think that's the fight? Because, he's talking about Jon Jones, Brock Lesnar, boxing. What do you think is the most fair thing?
Yeah, Brock doesn't belong in the conversation, in my opinion. So Jon Jones does. I don't know. I don't know what I'm not in the promoter chair.
Mm-hmm.
Jon Jones obviously is coming up now in weight. I don't know, but I think Francis is there too, right? He needs to get the title shot first.
It sounds to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, Alistair, that you feel like we should all just move on from Brock. That ship has sailed.
Brock still has some USADA things to deal with, so he cannot be in this conversation. We have to keep UFC. We have to keep UFC taking UFC serious. We can't, and that's why we can't take Brock serious, because he's still got USADA things to deal with.
Okay. Do you think he even comes back or no at this point?
At age of 43, 44, with still USADA hanging over his head, I do not think it is. I don't think that's a, no, I don't think he's coming back.
I was surprised to hear you say that you'd be honored to welcome Jon Jones to the heavyweight division, considering you've trained with him and it seemed like you guys were buddies. Obviously, it's not personal, but why would that interest you?
Well, I don't have bad vibes with him. I just think it would be a good fight.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I don't have, he was actually very nice to me while I was at Jackson's. But I don't have difficulty fighting former teammates.
How do you think he would do at heavyweight?
I think he's going to do good. He's got my body frame. He's strong. He's technical. He was kind of flirting with the idea for a long time, right? He did very well against Orlovsky at the time.
Jones versus Stipe, who wins in your opinion?
That's a good fight. I don't know. Could go
Jones
either way.
Jones versus Francis, who wins?
Could go either way.
No picks from you.
No.
You don't do picks. Alistair versus Jones, who wins?
Me, of course.
It doesn't sound like you're interested in the Jairzinho rematch. How come?
Well, no, I am. Who says I'm not interested in him? I mean, I still have a score to settle, right? He stole something from me. He snuck away with the victory. I mean, I schooled the man. He knows it. Everybody knows it. The whole world knows it. But somehow he still has that W. So we definitely have some score to settle.
Yeah, I mean, you'd be on a 5-fight winning streak now if not for that.
Actually, I am. That's the way it feels to me.
Okay. So is that your pick? Like if they say to you, okay, Alistair, who do you want? Is that the pick?
Yes, definitely.
Oh, that's the one. Because on Saturday, it seemed like you weren't all that interested in it.
No, that's not true.
Okay.
That's not true. Why would I not be interested to run it back with him?
I don't know. Maybe you feel like you beat him and you want to move on with your life.
Well, it is not on paper, so we got to still do it.
Okay, so your top pick, if they gave you your choice, would be to fight Jairzinho again in your next fight.
Yes.
Has there been any talk of that?
No, not yet.
What did you think of his last performance?
Yeah, it was good, right? JDS.
Yeah.
He did.
Okay. Well, you were going to say something there, and I cut you off.
Yeah, I don't remember you were interrupting. Keep interrupting.
No preliminary talks.
No, listen, I'm not that much of a talker, right?
Right.
It doesn't suit me either. UFC will have something in their mind, and we're gonna dance with them.
Okay. By the way, speaking of dancing, your walkout song on Saturday, nice beat. Felt like it put you in a good mood. I saw you comment on it. Any significance behind it?
DJ Rehab, friend of mine from Holland, cool guy, talented DJ, and yeah. So I was actually at a festival. This is a couple months ago, pre-COVID, and I heard it, and I was like, hey, I want this. So I kind of know him. I'm in touch with him. So like, yeah, make this for me, please. And he did, and it was cool. It worked, right? Even you
Yeah,
liked it.
it was great. I remember a few years ago I asked you about your walkout song. I think it was when you fought in Newark, UFC 169, and you wouldn't tell me. Remember you said you would tell me one day why that song meant something to you? You still haven't told me.
I don't remember.
You
It's
don't
too
even
long
remember.
ago.
Yeah. You said I was like the salmon swimming upstream. You do remember, right? You do remember.
That sounds like something I would say, but UFC 169, that's like 100 UFCs ago.
Yeah, it was almost, yeah. You don't
Yeah.
remember? I feel like you remember all these things, Alistair.
No.
No? What about the sledgehammer? Who came up with that idea?
Oh, okay. So that was a different era, right? That's like 2 or 3 eras back.
Yes. Yes.
That the whole idea behind that was Japanese love that stuff, and then yeah, okay, pick a prop. Who are you going to be? And then at that time, Demolition Man, the movie. Oh, I'm going to be Demolition Man, and the Japanese loved it, and that made me walk out with the sledgehammer. I don't know. I did it for a couple of years.
Yeah. Did
Until
they
I
give
got
you? Did they give it to you, or
no,
did you?
no, I did myself, but I got annoyed with flying around with that thing. It's big. So yeah, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do that anymore.
Oh, those were great. Maybe for the last fight, you bring it back. What do you think?
Then I got to fly around with it again.
Just one time for your old fans.
For my old fans. It's been so long ago, right? Well, I don't know. I don't even know if they allow that to happen, right, in UFC.
Do you have it?
Yeah, it's. I have. Yeah, it is. It is. It's actually right here. Let me show you.
No way. This is incredible. Alistair is going to show us the famous sledgehammer from the old Pride days. This is a treat for old school fans right here. I feel like I'm about to witness history.
There it is right there.
Oh my gosh. That is amazing.
I'll walk up there, actually.
Please. This is wonderful.
Here is the hammer.
Oh my gosh.
And there's a picture of it. You see it?
Yes, I see it.
Have a look, because I've not seen.
Legendary stuff right here. Ooh, look at that with the Dutch orange.
Yeah. There's going to be some more pictures.
This is amazing. A real piece of combat sports history right here.
One second. Just get this out.
Oh, yeah, look at that. So is this your trophy room, Alistair?
Yeah, so I got the Pride trophies, Strike Force.
Oh, my gosh.
K1 Grand Prix. This is my first trophy, 79. You see that?
Wow.
November 15. 79. I don't know if you can see it or not.
I could see it.
Okay, and this is my second.
This is amazing.
Actually, it's 97, my bad. November 15, 97, and this is November 21, 98. This is Dream. And here's K1. Here's some more Strike Force.
Wow.
Gloves. Some wraps.
I'm in awe of this. This is great.
Dream Heavyweight.
Yeah. Todd Duffy.
Yep. This was my first world title. 205.
Too hot to handle.
Yeah. October 10, 2004. Strike Force gloves. Pride the best.
Strike Force was the best? And the hammer. Wow.
Yeah, Pride the best.
Oh, yeah. Those were great. The blue ones. Alistair, this has been amazing. Thank you so much for this. I feel you have reinvigorated me just looking at this stuff. It's always a pleasure, my friend, seeing that wonderful smile of yours. And congratulations. And enjoy the victory with your family. And we'll talk to you soon, okay?
Sounds like a plan.
All right.
All right, Ariel.
Take care, my friend. All the best.
Have a good one, man.
You too.
Ciao.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus.